Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a great weekend. Today's video is going to be a review of The Expendables 3. I have talked about the Expendables films on this channel in the past. I'm a huge fan of both films. I know that they aren't horror related, but they are important films to me, and I have shared my thoughts on those in the past. I've done reviews of both films, and I did with the first film. I actually just did the Blu-ray special edition Blu-ray of the director's cut. I did talk about the first film though quite a bit, and then of course I did do a review of Expendables 2 back in 2012. I've been really looking forward to Expendables 3. It's been my most anticipated film this summer, and I just want to share my thoughts with everyone on it. I saw it Friday night, and I hope everyone looks forward to this review. Please stay tuned. So in the Expendables 3, Barney and the original crew of the Expendables go up against Conrad Stonebanks, who is played by Mel Gibson. Stonebanks is actually one of the co-founders of the Expendables. He helped form the team with Barney, and he's gone rogue as a notorious arms dealer. And he's hell-bent on wiping out Barney and every one of the Expendables team. So along with returning cast members of Sylvester Stallone as Barney Ross, Jason Statham as Lee Christmas, Terry Crews as Hail Caesar, Randy Couture as Toll Road. You also have Jet Li coming back as Yin Yang, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Trent Mauser, and of course Dolph Lundgren as Gunner. You have those guys coming back, but you also have a new team of people in this installment. So of the new cast members that have shown up, there's a new recruit of younger Expendables that are in this one. First in the cast is Ronda Rousey. She's an MMA fighter. She plays You also have Kellen Lutz as Smiley, Victor Ortiz as Mars, Glenn Powell as Thorne, Antonio Banderas shows up as Galgo. Kelsey Grammer plays Bonaparte. Of course, Mel Gibson as Conrad Stonebanks is the new villain in this one. You also have Wesley Snipes playing Dr. Death, and Harrison Ford plays Drummer. He fills in for Church, who was the main guy that put the Expendables on assignments in the first two films. That character is not in this film. He is mentioned, but the reason why Church is not in this film is because Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone got into some type of disagreement over what Bruce Willis wanted to make returning to the franchise, and somehow that it just didn't work out, so he is not in this film. The film was directed by Patrick Hughes, and the story was written by Sylvester Stallone. Now, there's a lot that's been going kind of against the Expendables 3, more so than the other two films. The first film, I think, was highly anticipated just because you were seeing a bunch of these 80s and 90s icons mixing in, Statham and Jet Li, who have become, kind of action stars in the early part of the 21st century going up until now, especially Statham, who I think is one of the best action stars around right now. And then mixing in, Dolph Lundgren and, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You had Mickey Rourke, who wasn't really known as an action guy, but again, a huge star in the 80s and 90s, kind of having a revamp to his career in the 2000s thanks to the movie The Wrestler. So yeah, the first one was kind of like, oh, this is something new, this is something interesting. So I think that's why that film performed so well. And then the second film, you brought in the likes of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Chuck Norris. I mean, and it was such a fun film. The second film, and I still think the second Expendables film, as much as I love the first film, I still think the Expendables 2 was a terrific sequel and improved upon the first film. And then you have this one, and what sort of started out the gate going against this one was the PG-13 rating. Many people were disappointed to hear that this movie was going to be PG-13. I was kind of on the fence with it. I didn't really have a big problem with it. But again, the thing that we wanted from the first two Expendables films is the over-the-top action and violence, because that is what these guys are known for, coming from the 80s and 90s. Does the PG-13 hurt the film? I'm going to say kind of. Not to the point of I didn't think it was a kick-ass movie, but there was some noticeable differences with the other two films. A lot of the action is it's almost like you don't see the full effect. You'll either see like somebody shoot, and then instead of seeing like a blood spurt and somebody falling backwards, you'll see kind of like them falling. There's no gore. There's very little carnage in this film. There is a lot of action, a lot of shooting, a lot of the over-the-top violence with shooting and fighting, but nothing in terms of gore. I feel like the gore was really trimmed heavily on the Expendables 3, and it's kind of, I was really a little bit upset about that. Not to the point of where it affected my thoughts on the film. Another thing going against this film was the fact that the print leaked about 3 weeks ago, where there was somehow a pristine DVD quality version of the film was leaked out onto BitTorrenting sites and was downloaded millions of times. And as I checked the box office today, it did affect the box office for the film, which is unfortunate. The movie opened just under $17 million. Now, Expendables 1 opened at like 34, and Expendables 2 opened at like 28. So that's a huge drop. It's like a 40% drop in terms of revenue. So I say fuck you to the pirates. Thank you for destroying the possibility for a Expendables 4, because you guys had to be douchebags and leak the fucking shit online. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I've already done a video where I've chastised people for downloading illegally. But again, that's my thoughts. The only plus side to the fact that the movie didn't make what they thought it was going to make is that it has gotten a pretty good word of mouth. They said it has an A- right now, a cinema score. So that's a good word of mouth, so hopefully it'll keep the film afloat and it can make up some of the revenue lost thanks to the fuckers that put it online 3 weeks early. But on to my review of the film. I had a blast with the Expendables 3. These kinds of films are right up my alley. They remind me of the movies I grew up with as a kid. Just absolutely loved them. I think the additions of Wesley Snipes and Antonio Banderas, and even some of the newer people that were in the movie. The only characters from the new cast that I wasn't crazy about were Victor Ortiz's character of and Glenn Powell's character of Thorn. For some reason, those two just didn't really do much for me. But I really thought that, and I know there's a lot of people that don't like Twilight, and Kellen Lutz was in the Twilight films, but I thought his was awesome. He did a great job in the film. And he actually was supposed to be in one of the earlier Expendable films. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but they had wanted him to be in that film. And I think it was because he was shooting the Twilight films that he wasn't able to be in it. But I actually thought he did a great job. The Smiley character was awesome. And as was Ronda Rousey as Luna. She's friggin' beautiful. And I'm not a big MMA fan in terms of I just don't watch it very much. But she kicked ass in the movie. I thought she did a terrific job. Now, there's a lot of people that are sort of shitting on Antonio Banderas' character, Galgo, in this. And I thought he stole the movie. He was hilarious in the film. He reminded me of a version, if they had like a version of like a live action version of Puss in Boots and the character he played in Desperado. He was just hilarious, and the fight scenes were terrific, and I thought he brought a lot of energy to the role. I've seen a couple of online critics be overly critical of Antonio Banderas in the film, and I just thought he was a blast. I had a lot of fun with the character, and he didn't bother me at all. It was great to see Schwarzenegger in a bigger role as well. And of course, Stallone and Jason Statham are fantastic in it. I don't want to tell too much more about the movie, but I had a blast with it. I think I like Part 2 a little bit more, but that doesn't leave out the fact that the Expendables 3 was a total blast. If I had to give it a rating on my normal 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the highest, I would still give it a 10 out of 10, because these films are just meant to be fun. They're not meant to be taken seriously. I think critics and some people just take them way too seriously. They're supposed to be over the top. They're supposed to be fun. You want to hear these guys saying their catchphrases like they have from other movies from the 80s. And that's all I wanted going into this. I just wanted to have a great time. The action was fantastic. The cast had a lot of chemistry. I thought Mel Gibson was a fantastic villain. He was my favorite villain out of the 3. He just did a terrific job. There's a great scene with him and Sylvester Stallone, this one face-off scene between them, and that was like my favorite scene in the film. They just did a terrific job in that scene. They were fantastic. And I hope that we do get to see another Expendables film. I would love to see a 4th one. I think these films are a lot of fun. They're films that I look forward to, and I know there's other fans of them out there. It's a shame that this movie got leaked online. It pisses me off to no end because it was the film I was really looking forward to this year. But it doesn't change the fact that I loved it, and I'm sure that other people loved it, or the word of mouth wouldn't be as strong as it is. And I'm hoping that carries it and it at least makes some decent money, and we can see a fourth film maybe in a couple of years. That would be awesome. That's just my thoughts on the Expendables 3. I hope everyone enjoyed this review. I promise I got some horror stuff coming next week. I know I've been, with Robin Williams passing this week and talking about the Expendables now, I haven't really been doing that much horror talk, which is what this channel is known for. But I promise you guys I have some cool videos coming up next week, and I hope everyone looks forward to them. Also, I plan to answer everybody that has sent me questions or made comments to my videos. Sorry I've been lagging a little bit, but work has been taxing and I've been very tired and just a lot going on. But I promise you, everyone's question or comment to me is important, so I will be getting back to you guys. And please, if you guys have seen The Expendables 3, let me know what you think. Share your comments below, and I really look forward to reading them and responding to them. So, again, thanks so much for watching. Hope everyone has a great evening. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.